Having all tools and services in one place takes off the complexities that comes with software development life cycle. Microsoft has done well by integrating or putting together all these services into one accessible platform. Today, I will be talking about each of these services. However, it's just going to be an overview of each of them. In the coming weeks, I'll be talking about each of these services in details. My name still remains Babafemi, and I would like to welcome you again to my channel, Tech Talk with Babafemi. Now, let's take a look at what we are going to be doing today. So, like I've said, we're going to be looking at all the services today. So, let's click on our project. So, this was the DevOps roadmap that we created the last time. As you can see, the first thing you can see here is the summary of the project. There are not activities in this project already, and that's why this place feel like blank. Here we should be seeing the project description, but currently you are seeing the services that have been enabled for this particular project. So for us to at least see the project description, let's go back to the project settings on the overview page, and I'm just going to copy these and say DevOps project description. I'll save this. Then I go back to my roadmap settings. So now we have that. But before this will show up on this summary page, we need to either add, a README file from our repo, or we add a wiki page. So I'm going to add a README file from our repo. Remember that when we created our project, a repo was also created for us with the same name. So I'm going to click on the repo, and on my repo, I scroll down, you would see there's a README file that have been added to this repo. So this is just describing what the repo is all about. Currently, we do not have any file. This is just a default README file that is added to every repo that you create in Azure DevOps. So I'm going to initialize this particular README file so that it shows up as the project description. So once I initialize, so I've added this README file. You can see that this has been added to my repo. It now shows up in my repo. If you scroll down, this is just like an introduction or a brief about your repo. If I go back to the overview page now, I should be able to select this README file as my project description. So I'll click on the overview page, and you can see this is the project description we've added. So, but we still need to select the README file, or we add a wiki page. So if I click on this, then this gives you this opportunity to be able to select a README file or a wiki page. So we do not have a wiki page. I'm just going to select the README file I just initialized. So I'm going to click on the DevOps, and you can see this is the same README file that we have. So you can decide to edit these, but I'm going to go ahead with this. So this is going to show. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Yeah. So this is showing up. On the other side, you can see these are activities going on in the project. Currently, we have only one commit because we've added the README file, and you can see the members that we currently have in this project. Then the next one is the dashboard. Now, this dashboard gives you a pictorial view of what's going on, in your project. I'm just going to quickly work on this, create a dashboard for this DevOps roadmap. So your dashboard is always assigned, to a theme, or you can create a personal dashboard for yourself. So currently, I'm going to quickly create a quick dashboard for this team. So if you add another team, this dashboard will not be assigned to a new team. So you need to at least clone this particular dashboard that I want to create by copying it to the new team. So I'm just going to let me just add some of the widgets on here. So I want to see some things that are actually peculiar to the team. So let's look for some items. So we can add the new work item. So anyone assigned or anyone that had access to this dashboard, can create a new work item from the dashboard. That's the bug. I can change it. I can change by configuring this to say no. This is for tax. I want to be able to create tax. Then let's even say I want to see items that are actually assigned to me. Then yeah, you can see these are items assigned to me. So let's check some other things. New work items. I think we picked that already. Then we want to see the pull request, going on here. So we need to select a particular team, or let's say pull request assigned to a team or assigned to me, created by me. You can also minimize the width. Currently, we have, I think we have 3 times 2, so you can reduce this to 2. Oh, you can't. I think we can only edit the height, this change. But so there are some widgets we can actually reduce. Let's check this one. We should be able to reduce the width, yeah, to 2. That's fine. So you can just play around, whatever you need to add. There are a lot of widgets in there. Just add them. I'm going to just add this little and move ahead. Um, the next one is the wiki. So, like I've said, for wiki is just like you collaborating. You want to add pages so that anyone picking up this project or anybody new to this project can go to those pages and to say, okay, these are some informations about this project. You have some known issues, or you can even decide to publish the code in the wiki. Let's say I've added files and folder, and I want to write about each of those files or folders. So I can click on the publish code as wiki. Let's see. So I can click on the DevOps roadmap, the wiki name, and say test, test. I click on this publish. This should create at least a README file. So if, because this is the only file that I have, in my repo, and that's why if I have other files and folders on my repo, then that also will be added to this. If I decide to add, a sub page under this README file, I can click this and create a sub page. I can also create a new page, which is different from the README file. All is just for collaboration. Then we'll move on to board. This is where we set up, the work items, depending on the process you've selected. I think currently we have the agile process. So the work items that you're going to see here is going to be different from when you select the basic work process, or when you select the SHRM. So you have the tax, the issue. We're going to be explaining these when we start talking about board. So let's just even create at least one item. Let's create a bug. Yeah, let's say bug 1, and I'll have that assigned to me, and we'll be able to check our dashboard, you know, the widgets we added to see if it's working. Then I click on save. That's bug 1. Then if I go back to, the dashboard, I should see on here that a new bug has been assigned to me. So once I log into this project, I go to my dashboard, I can check the work items that have been assigned to me. Then from here, let's even check the work item. Now, currently, we've actually created a work item, which is the bug, and this is not showing on the board. So you should know that that should show, but currently we have the ability to only select a user story. Why? So let me even create a user story. Yeah, and I'd say user story, and let's see if this will even show up. So if I click on this, yes, this is showing up. So why is our bug not showing up? So we need to edit a particular setting. To do that, you need to go to the project settings, then go to the team's configuration. So here you need to add your bug, you need to manage it with requirements. Then I go back to my roadmap, which is my project. Then I click on the board and let's see if our bug is now showing. Yes, so currently our bug is now showing. If I click on this, I will be able to select the bug also. Um, Same thing, the same thing you can see here is what you will see on the project backlogs. So if I click on the project backlogs, you would see that I have the same thing I have on the board, but the only difference is for the bug, for the user backlog, you only see work items that have not been closed. So if I go back to this board and I move one of these items to close, you will not see it again on the backlog, because backlog means items that are still in progress. So if I click on this, you will not see this item on the backlog anymore. So sprint is just like we are iterating, we are dividing our project into iterations. So we can have different sprints. So depending on what feature you want to work on um, during this particular sprint. So you can set the date for your sprint. Let's say I'm setting up today and to end on the 30th. So that's my first sprint. My next sprint, I can add a date, and this is going to give me, let's say, this will start on the 1st and end on the 7th. Yeah, end on the 7th. So that's my iteration 2. So currently you can see we have items that have not been closed, which is the user story that I've added. So I can decide to add like a new tags from here too, to say tax 1. So um, and I do not, because we've not been able to complete this task, I want to move it to a different iteration. I can move it to iteration 2 to say, let's move this one to iteration 2. Let's focus on this user story. Then I move this to iteration 2. If I switch to iteration 2, I'm going to see that particular, you know, um, that particular user story. Then you have the queries. For queries, because of the time, I'm just going to quickly hand this up. We have the analytic view where we have some shared queries, some inbuilt queries that have been configured for you. So you can see, so these queries, you can use them on the board, they are all widgets, you can add them on the board to say, this is the bug I want to be seeing, all histories by the end of the month, last 26 days. You can even add your own. So for you to add your own queries, so you need to click, for you to add your own query, you click on the new query, select whatever parameter you want to select. I think we've added some. So if I run this query, so these are items that have been created today, and that's why they are showing. So I can save these and give it a name to say item on the 24th of November, but I'm not going to do that. Delivery plans is just to at least for you to create a plan which can be visualized and tracked, depending on how you're working on the features, So that's that about delivery plans. We have the repo where you add your source code, all everything that you had in here. You can create a new repo by dropping down this particular repo. You can even import a new repo. You can select branches. You can create a new branch. um, then we have commit. Commit, whenever you add a file, you need to commit that file. Then the pushes, yes, because after committing, you add a file, you commit, you push. And that's why you can see this push here. So do not worry. We're going to talk about all these when we get to repo. Then we have branches. This is where you create your branch. Currently we have only one branch, which is the main branch. Then I can decide to create a new branch from here and say, because I want to this main, I want, I can decide to create a new branch from here, by clicking on the new branch. And this is based on this particular branch because everyone want to at least copy from the main branch. So that's why you can see based on main. So if I do any tag, if I add any tag, to my repo and history, I can say, um, when we create this particular branch or this particular feature, then I will say this particular feature is version 1.1. Then I add a tag. That tag is going to show up. Yeah, I can give it a name and I'd say v 1.1. And I create. So this is version 1.1. I can assign these to the particular feature. Then the pull request, we'll look at these for us to be able to create a pull request. When a code is added, let's say there is a particular feature a user wants to work on, a developer wants to work on, you don't work directly on the main or the master branch. So you need to create your own branch, which is the feature branch. And when you are certain or when you're sure that your code is functioning, then you can now merge your code with the main branch. But before you can merge your code, you need to create what we call a pull request. And that's what we have here. Then we go to the advanced security. Here, this is just this is just an added feature. You will love this. These will scan, the dependencies of whatever language you put in there. Though it works with some certain language for now. It works with some certain languages for now. You know, it also scans your code, it analyzes your code. For you to be able to at least use the particular feature, let me just quickly duplicate this. For you to use this particular feature, then you need to click on, let's say, the view repository. You need to turn on this particular settings for you to be able to use that particular feature, and this will create some tags for you that you can actually add on your pipeline. We'll look at that also. Yeah. Then we can go to pipelines. So on pipelines, this is where you automate. So when we talk about continuous integration, where we build, where we test, where we push out or publish our artifacts. So this is where we do that. This is where the build and release process is going on. So under the pipelines, so we can see, yeah, we have pipelines. You can create, your release pipelines. You can create your build pipelines from here. Something is missing. You know, let's see. Okay, so the pipeline is where you do your automation, your build, your release. This is where you do that. We have different pipeline. We have the Yamen pipeline. We have the classic pipeline. We'll be taking a look at the two. Then we'll talk about the environment where you can push these pipelines to. Something is what's going on. Okay, we have the environment. The environment is where you deploy, your the we have the environment, which is where you deploy your applications to. Then we'll talk about the library. Then we'll talk about under library. This is where at least you want to add your secret, you want to connect your key vault, add your variable groups. If I click on these, I can add, like a dictionary value, which is the name and value, the key value. Let's say my name, then I can say Babafemi, then I can call this from my pipeline. If I do not want to do this, I do not want to put my secret in a plain text this way, I can add, like a key vault to this, create my key vault. You guys will know what key vault does. It manages secret password. So I can do that from here. Then for test plans, this is where you write your test plans. How do you want website. How do you want to test your website? How do you want to test your web application? You can see under the board, we can create a test plan to say this particular page should, the color should be green, the color should be blue. You want to check these. You can also install, like an extension for you to be able to, you can also install an extension for you to be able to test your application on the web. So here you can see install now. So if I go ahead to install, this will take me to an extension page where I can add the extension. Then, um, but please, before you can create a test plan, you need to be assigned at least, a basic access level, which you can see here. Then the last one is the artifact, which are packages. You need to connect a field to be able to see some of the packages when you connect your feed. So these are all the services we'll be talking about. As a little glitch here, we should be seeing more than what we are seeing under the pipelines. At least we should see some deployment groups. The agents, they are not showing up here. I don't know why, but I hope in the next class it will show up. Then we'll be able to talk about it.